Hi there, I'm Vincent and I provide dating and self-improvement advice. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing Dumpee pain cycle. I provide audio coaching to help people try and get their ex back or get a new girlfriend or boyfriend. Check out my website for more details. www.dateme.tips. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. So now let's get back into today's podcast, and today we are discussing Dumpee pain cycle. So if you're a Dumpee, you've likely gone through pain and struggle. Sometimes it can feel like this suffering will never end, and this can be due to the Dumpee pain cycle. A negative cycle which can be hard to break when you're in the loop. So in today's podcast, I'm going to discuss the three elements of the Dumpee pain cycle, and this knowledge can be helpful as a way to try and break the pattern and head towards happiness. So let's get straight into this. And point number one, element number one of the Dumpee pain cycle is pain. And unfortunately, we have to start at this point. And if you are unable to break the cycle, then you will return to this point and you'll be starting again at this moment in time and time again. The feeling of pain is where it begins. And if you don't get out of this cycle, unfortunately, it will loop round, and the pain and the suffering will continue. At the time of a breakup, you likely experienced heartbreak, and this can best be described as a combination of feelings similar to grief and drug withdrawal. Now look, if you was to speak to somebody with lots of life experience and you said, what's the worst pain you have ever felt? Most people would say the death of a family member or friend, followed by the pain of heartbreak. This is an agonizing pain, and something that even if you've gone through before, it doesn't prepare you for if you feel heartbreak again. The pain and the struggle of heartbreak can put you in a position where you'll think you'll do anything to get out of a situation, even though what you might try to do isn't going to be particularly helpful. You need to be trying to think clearly during this time, and unfortunately, when you are going through heartbreak, you are not thinking clearly. Your mind is clouded, and when you have a clouded mind, you don't make rational, sensible, and positive decisions. The pain you go through during the breakup is something, like I've just said, will be revisited if you don't break the cycle. You might go through heartbreak and feel like you are moving out of a heartbreak and then make some bad choices later down the line, which give you heartbreak once more. I will be discussing this in the next point of today's podcast about the type of things which can really cause you to revisit this pain element, but you don't want to be going through this again. You know, at the time of a breakup, you're going to be feeling pain, you're going to be feeling agony, you're going to be feeling confused. All of these negative feelings mixed with other negativity, maybe anger, frustration, bitterness. All of these things come together. You do not want to be revisiting this. And this is why it's so important that we try and crack the code of this and escape from the clutches of a Dumpee pain cycle. Now, if you're somebody who's thinking, yes, look, I'm feeling the pain right now, that's why I'm listening to today's podcast, there is hope, there is light at the end of a tunnel. This is something which is escapable. You know, your feelings are temporary, providing you move forward in a positive way. If you do enough of the right things, you can escape the clutches of this despair. And if you imagine that you are right now in a dark, bleak tunnel, if you move forward, you will get through the tunnel into the light of happiness, fulfillment, and life satisfaction. The way to get out of a dark tunnel is to move forward. And sometimes this can be the hardest thing because you want to sit around, so to speak. You don't have the energy to move forward. You don't have the energy to mix with new people. You don't have the energy to spend time with your friends and family. You might want to just spend every moment in your room, in your bedroom, thinking, look, I just want to get my ex back. I'm going to text them. I want to do this. I want to do that. And not living your life. If you don't live your life to the full, you are not moving through the tunnel. If you don't move through the tunnel, you can't escape the tunnel. You can't get into the light of happiness unless you push forward. It's very hard to do, but you have no option. So now let's get into point number 2 and the second point of today's podcast about the Dumpee pain cycle. And we're now looking at the second element of the chain of the cycle. And point number 2 is faulty thinking. Now I was touching on this in point number 1 about how we have clouded thoughts when we are going through the struggle, and this will not allow us to make sensible, rational decisions. Faulty thinking is where we make decisions which are unhelpful to us. Faulty thinking is when we are convinced doing something is the right option for us, when in reality it is doing the opposite. It's probably the worst option, and if you were thinking clearly, you would know that this is not going to help. An example of this is if you have been dumped and thinking to yourself, the only way to get my ex back is to convince my ex they have made a mistake. And by doing this, you start to text them, you knock on their door, you leave them answer phone messages, you write them letters. You feel you are doing the right thing. You feel that you are pushing yourself into a positive perspective in their mind. But in reality, you have to understand that if somebody ends a relationship, they are not thinking positively about you and them in a connection. The last thing you want to be doing right now is annoying them. You might be thinking, well, they've made a bad choice. But in their mind, they haven't made a bad choice. Okay, at this moment in time, they are feeling a very low level of romantic emotional attraction for you. And romantic emotional attraction can't be grown via persuasion. You can't persuade your ex to take you back. This has to be something which is organically grown in their mind and something that they come to the decision of themselves. Even if and when they do decide to change their mind, you might not be in the position where you want to get back with them anyway. It can sometimes take many months or years for a dumper to change their mindset. If you are a dumpee and you're living your life the right way, you might be thinking, I don't even want you back now because I found somebody even better. But when we are considering the dumpee pain cycle, we have to understand that faulty thinking is the second element of the chain. It is the thought that comes into our mind after we've gone through the pain. So we go through the pain, then we experience faulty thinking, and we think, look, to get my ex back, I'm going to show them a grand gesture. That is something I can do to get my ex back. But unfortunately, that showcases itself as bargaining. And you can't be bargaining. You can't be buying love. You can't persuade somebody with words. You can't persuade somebody with money. This is not something you can do. Somebody will only be in a relationship with us if they want to, if they feel enough romantic emotional attraction, and this can't be persuaded and it can't be bought. There are many other things that can happen through faulty thinking, but ultimately you must be very, very careful, because if you make the wrong choices through faulty thinking, then the consequences, unfortunately, can be pretty disastrous for you and your ex in regards to trying to get them back. So now let's move into point number 3 and the final point of today's podcast about the Dumpee pain cycle. And point number 3 is negative action. So now you can see the Dumpee pain cycle in full. We start off with pain. This leads us to have faulty thinking. And then if we use faulty thinking, if we implement faulty thinking, if we follow this through, then we will take a negative action. And taking a negative action is basically what I've just been describing, doing things such as texting your ex, chasing your ex, trying to buy presents for your ex, persuading your ex. These negative actions are not going to help you get your ex back. In the vast majority of instances, a dumper who receives this type of attention will be more likely to block you than to take you back. Now, it's important to say, nothing works 100% of the time and nothing fails 100% of the time. You will always find the odd example, the 1 in 100 type person who goes against advice and finds success. But unfortunately, the vast majority of people who do the wrong things will get negative results. And I'm just trying to give you the best advice. I'm trying to give you the best advice to try and achieve your success. And I'm just saying, look, you can take this option or you can take that option. This option gives you a greater chance of success. This option gives you a greater chance of failure. Nothing is guaranteed. If you do everything right, it's not guaranteed you'll get your ex back. Unfortunately, nothing can guarantee that situation. Nothing can be guaranteed to get somebody to want to be in a relationship with you again. But similarly, nothing can be guaranteed to fail. So if we just look at this in the picture, we're trying to improve your chances of success. Nothing is guaranteed good or bad. But if you get involved in the Dumpee pain cycle, going through pain, experiencing faulty thinking, taking negative action, you can see what comes next. It is pain. As I said at the very start, this loops round. So you go through the pain, you go through the breakup. Then you are faulty thinking. You think, you know what, I'm going to keep texting my ex and persuading them to take me back. You take back negative action. Guess what happens? You get blocked. Then you're in a worse position than the beginning. Because at first you weren't blocked. You weren't blocked. If your ex ever changed their mind, they would reach out to you. Now you're blocked. So guess what? You're going through the pain. The pain starts to hit you once more. And then it starts again, the faulty thinking, more negative action. You have to break the Dumpee pain cycle. You have to escape its clutches by when you get to the faulty thinking stage, thinking, you know what, this is probably not the best judgment call. Let me ask my friends, let me ask my family. You know, if you want support from me, I have an audio coaching service. More details can be found on my website, www.dateme.tips. If you want to speak with me verbally one-on-one, this is something that we can speak about. Ultimately, you are not in the best position to be making decisions on your own. Yes, you might want to follow your gut instinct, but at least speak with your friends and family, at least speak to other people and garner opinion and see what other people are saying. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to give you good advice, but at least you will hear other people's perspectives. At the end of the day, if you take negative action, then this will result in you feeling pain once more and the cycle continuing. You need to be taking positive action and making sure you don't go through faulty thinking. So if you feel that faulty thinking, if you think, I don't know if this is right or not, get a second opinion, consider your thoughts, and then proceed in a positive way. If you don't take negative action, then that will mean you are doing something positive. Doing nothing at all is better than negative action. And of course, positive action is the best. At the end of the day, all I care about is you finding happiness. It doesn't bother me if you get your ex back or if you find somebody even better, as long as you find happiness and fulfillment. Not everybody will get their ex back, but everybody has opportunity to find somebody even better. If you go through self-improvement, if you become a better person today than you were yesterday, a better person tomorrow than you are currently today, then this will mean you will grow your attraction net. This will mean you can attract better people than you did in the past, and therefore better people than your ex. And hence, if you do everything right, even if you don't get your ex back, you can find somebody even better. So this was the Dumpee pain cycle. I hope you're not going through it. Let me know in the YouTube comments if you feel you are stuck in the cycle, and let me know if you are now trying to see a bit more clearly about how to break it, how to escape it, and how to stop going through the loop. Because if you keep doing this, you will not find fulfillment, you won't get your ex back, and you won't find somebody even better. You will just be in a negative loop, and this is not going to help you in any way, shape, or form. If you believe that this podcast has helped you, then please consider buying me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description.
Yeah, if you miss your ex, we can help with that. Help you get him back, or we can help find you someone else. Yeah, Vincent, the relationship coach, giving you some insight, bringing you a new approach. DateMe.tips, go and check the site, giving you advice, helping with your love life. Get your ex back, or move to the next. Ain't no sweat, you know Vincent got you. Finding love ain't no problem. Yeah, DateMe.tips, check it out now.